Hello. So, today I'm going to talk about something related to what we've been seeing in the news, and it has to do with transportation. And there's recently an article, and it showed that the TriMet board basically has never used TriMet, and that is frankly unacceptable. Um, we should not have the most important transit system in the Portland area, not being decided and governed by people who have no use in it. And this goes back to just a classic problem we have, and this goes back to a classic problem we have in Portland government, where um, TriMet is the most important transit system we have in Portland, and it's not being controlled locally by Portland. It's being controlled by a board selected by the governor, and none of them ride TriMet. None of them have a real stake in its success. And people who do ride TriMet, like myself, can sort of notice that and probably see that. And if you look at the data, you see that too. We've had one of the worst public transit rebounds of any major city in America. And that's what happens when you don't think about incentives and implementation and who's actually overseeing anything. And that's why we really need to change how this state and how this city deals with public transit. Um, our public transit system, which is primarily used by Portland and the other major cities in the Portland area, should be decided and governed by those entities. The board of TriMet should be made up by people selected by the Portland City Council and the Beaverton City Council and other city councils in Gresham in proportion to the number of riders they have. And it should be made up of people who actually use the system and know the system and have a real stake in wanting the system to succeed. And that's sort of that kind of systematic change that we need to see in the Portland area. A lot of the things Portland government needs to do is advocate for itself, advocate for the region, even if we don't have the official power to change it. Once you start drawing attention to a generally poor design and an unfairness of how things are running, you do tend to get a response. So that's it for this week.